is Jesus gives the Sermon on the Mount. So Matthew chapter 5, it's 48 verses. So we're going to try to get it in under 10 minutes. So I'm going to have to read fast and explain fast to see if we can squeeze it all in that amount of time. So here we go. Verse 1. One day, as he saw the crowds gathering, Jesus went up on the mountainside and sat down. His disciples gathered around him, and he began to teach them. God blesses those who are poor and realizes their need for him, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. God blesses those who are humbled, for they will inherit the whole earth. God blesses those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be satisfied. God blesses those who are merciful, for they will be shown mercy. God blesses those whose hearts are pure, for they will see God. God blesses those who work for peace, for they will be called the children of God. God blesses those who are persecuted for doing right, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. God blesses you when people mock you and persecute you and lie about you and say all sorts of evil things against you because you are my followers. Be happy about it. Be very glad, for a great reward awaits you in heaven. And remember, the ancient prophets were persecuted in the same way. So it's kind of going back to what I said yesterday. You know, if they talk about Jesus and treat Jesus bad, they're going to treat you bad. They're going to talk about you. So he's saying right here that God will bless you regardless of what people say. You know, be glad that people are talking about you. Like I said, if they talked about Jesus, they'll talk about you. So verse 13, you are the salt of the earth, but what good is salt if it has lost its flavor? Can you make it salty again? It will be thrown out and trampled underfoot as worthless. You are the light of the world, like a city on a hilltop that cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp and then puts it under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father. So right here, he's talking about, you know, us as Christians, we should let our light shine. We shouldn't have the joy of the Lord and then try to hide it so people can't see it. We should let our light shine so it makes people curious and, hey, you know, where did you get the peace that you have? And then you can share the gospel with them. Verse 17, this is Jesus teaches about the law. Don't misunderstand why I have come. I did not come to abolish the law of Moses or the writings of the prophets. No, I came to accomplish their purpose. I tell you the truth, until heaven and earth disappear, not even the smallest detail of God's law will disappear until its purpose is achieved. So if you ignore the least commandment and teach others to do the same, you will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But anyone who obeys God's law and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. But I warn you, unless your righteousness is better than the righteousness of the teachers of religious law and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Verse 21, you have heard that our ancestors were told, you must not murder. If you commit murder, you are subject to judgment. But I say, if you are even angry with someone, you are subject to judgment. If you call someone an idiot, you are in danger of being brought before the court. And if you curse someone, you are in danger of the fires of hell. So if you are presenting a sacrifice at the altar in the temple, and you suddenly remember that someone has something against you, leave your sacrifice there at the altar, go and be reconciled to that person, then come and offer your sacrifice to God. When you are on the way to court with your adversary, settle your differences quickly. Otherwise, your accuser may hand you over to the judge, who will hand you over to an officer, and you will be thrown into prison. And if that happens, you surely won't be free again until you have paid the last penny. So this right here is Jesus teaching about anger. You know, nowadays it's so easy for people to hold grudges. He's saying that we should be reconciling relationships quickly, not dragging them out, not holding grudges. And, you know, somebody does something to you, you just try to hold that against them for as long as possible. We struggle just as humans with forgiveness. But Jesus calls us to forgive In the Bible, it says 7 times 70. We can do math and say, okay, this is, but he's not looking for the number of times we should forgive somebody. He's just saying we should be perpetually forgiven. If somebody does something to you, just shake it off. They do it again, shake it off. They do it again, shake it off. And as long as we hold on to that, then our emotions are always going to be controlled by somebody else. So we have to be perpetually forgiven, where we're not in danger of being brought before the court, is what this is saying. So verse 27, you have heard the commandment that says you must not commit adultery. But I say anyone who even looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. So if your eye, even your good eye, causes you to lust, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your hand, even your stronger hand, causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. So this right here just teaches us all about, how easy it is to sin. The lust. We talk about committing adultery. You would think, okay, you got a husband and wife and somebody cheated on one or the other, they committed adultery. Well, this right here is literally straight out of the Bible, is saying if you even have a lustful thought, you've committed adultery. So it's easy to sin as human beings. This is, and that's why it says all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Like, no, not one is perfect. Verse 31, you have heard the laws that say a man can divorce his wife by merely giving her a written notice of divorce. But I say that a man who divorces his wife, unless she has been unfaithful, causes her to commit adultery. And anyone who marries a divorced woman also commits adultery. So this is very easy to do. You see divorce rates in America, it's probably at an all-time high. And, people are quick to get married, quick to get divorced, and quick to get remarried. And, that commits adultery, in that process. Verse 33, you have also heard that our ancestors were told, you must not break your vows. You must carry out the vows you make to the Lord. But I say, do not make any vows. Do not say, by heaven, because heaven is God's throne. And do not say, by the earth, because the earth is his footstool. And do not say, by Jerusalem, for Jerusalem is the city of the great king. Do not even say, by my head, for you can't turn one hair white or black. Just say a simple, yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one. So this right here is saying we shouldn't, kids nowadays will say, I swear to God. Or, this is what the Bible's saying, don't do that. That anything past yes, I will, or no, I won't, is coming from evil. So we shouldn't make promises to an extent where, cross my heart, hope to die. It's going the extra mile that we shouldn't do. So verse 38, you have heard the law that says the punishment must match for the injury, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say, do not resist an evil person. If someone slaps you on the right cheek, offer the other cheek also. If you are sued in court and your shirt is taken from you, give your coat too. If a soldier demands that you carry his gear for a mile, carry it 2 miles. Give to those who ask, and don't turn away from those who want to borrow. So this right here, this is taken out of context in the Bible a lot. They always, you'll hear people say, oh, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Whatever you do to me, I'm doing back to you. That's not what God calls us to do. It says right here, I tell you to turn the other cheek. If somebody smacks you on the right cheek, turn to the other cheek. That's how we should do it. And that goes back to forgiveness, being quick to forgive. Verse 43, you have heard the law that says, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you, and that way you will be acting as a true children of your Father in heaven. For he gives his sunlight to both the evil and the good, and he sends rain on the just and the unjust alike. If you love only those who love you, what reward is there for that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much. If you are kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? Even pagans do that. But you are to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. So this is where Jesus is teaching about loving your enemies. If people look at us as Christians and we act just like the world, where we do hold grudges and we don't forgive people, we're no different than the world. So, but if we can love our enemies, if we can love the people that talk about us, if we can love the people that hate us, people see that you're different. And, it sparks curiosity in people. Hey, why are you different? What makes you different than everybody else? That's where you can spread the gospel at. That's the most time that people want to learn, is when they're curious about something. So if you can let your light shine and not hide it, as the Bible says, we let our light shine. It's a good opportunity to bring the gospel up. So that's tonight. We went about a minute over, but it's a long chapter. So thank y'all for tuning in.